Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to my presentation about data strategy. The last couple of 10 days, I've been looking at tweets from influencers in this space, and I looked up for the most impactful tweets that were really insightful for me. I'm going to explain to you why I thought they were insightful, how my view of data strategy has changed, how big data and other data has changed my view about the future as well. So let's get right into it. So first of all, I want to talk about how data can replace jobs. If you look at the first quote I picked, you can see that about 80% of all doctors will be changed using data, using the technology in order to have a better and more accurate use of hospitality to people. Data and just the technology behind it can help people in such a big way that a lot of jobs will be replaced. Even if you look into the tech industry or just like manufacturing jobs, it's the future is very bright for data and just big data in general, because uh, data is way more accurate than people can ever be. If you look at the other quotes that I've implemented in this slide, which I got from a very big data strategist around the world, that is data is just way more important than software at some point, because if you look at the data, it's the beginning of the start. Um, Furthermore, we are also moving slowly into an era where big data is a starting point, not the end, which I said previously as well. It is just a start. People are getting more and more knowledge about it, and the more knowledge you can get about it, the better the technology, the better the data, and eventually the better people can use it in order to improve their lives and eventually replacing jobs. The third quote, which is implemented in the slides, is just that there's also a lot of data which is not at all useful. So you need to separate the useful data from the unuseful data in order to really get the best out of what you want from the data. So next, freedom, which is a very big topic about data. So the price of freedom, internal vigilance. What do you mean about this? Data is everywhere. You have Alexa, Google is using data, Apple. Even for me, when I talk about a subject, I get notifications, advertisements on Instagram, which is really, really worrying for me. So what I try to do is take out my cookies on Google Chrome. I don't have too much information out there about me, because you never know who can use it against you. And it's also so easy to get. um, so that's really, really worrisome for me. What you can do is, like, of course, private your stuff and like encrypt your WhatsApp or whatever. But like, at the end of the day, it's really easy for the rest of the world to get into your private data and use it against you. So that's a very big point for me. And this really opened my eyes, because before I wasn't really privating stuff or like turning off my cookies. But now when I read about freedom and data, it really opened my eyes. So I'm really glad that I followed this course and got a better view of how data can be used against you. Secondly, big point about data is that it's the human side. Like, people can use data against you. Computers don't really have any sense of how you're feeling. So implementing a human side into big data will maybe um, enhance the freedom that you can have as a person, because then it won't get all your data, which will eventually be very impactful into your life. So if a human side can be implemented in big data, I think people will be more safe and more secure and feel more freedom when they are on the internet, for example. So big data, there are a lot of errors coming into it. Of course, if somebody tortures the data enough, it will confess anything. For example, when you look back at the elections in 2016, they were saying that the Russians um, tortured with the data. That's why Trump had more votes in the end. So there are a lot of ways how data can be tortured or misused in order to have an advantage over someone. If you can look at the elections, Trump even said it this year in 2020 that the elections weren't fair. So if you just have the right people around you, you can also torture the data. That's why I want to go to my second point as well, is that you need to take care of yourself. You don't need to trust everything that you read. You have data yourself. You can play with the data as well. So if you just take enough time, you can get your own answers instead of believing what other people are saying on the internet. And my last point is accuracy. Data is very useful. You can use data in order to get more information, more knowledge about a subject. Just put in the time, look at data, don't just believe your gut or just guess because looking at this quote, they will be either lucky or wrong. Use data in order to make decisions, and then you will have an accurate view about what you want to know in the future. Thank you for listening, and I'm very glad that I had this lecture. Thank you.